Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and divine masculine. Welcome into a collective reading of the twin flame connection here. With regards to your situation, this will be a reading from the 10th of October until the next 6 7 days, or maximum 10 days. Muse and the material world. Okay, so take it in the way it resonates with you. There you show up. Divine masculine, patience, temperance is required in your case. There is a cycle in your life that you want to close or it's closing, but you need patience, okay? Then we'll see your energies here, guys. Let's call upon a divine angel, spirit guide, ancestors, my divine source, into this reading for the collective divine masculine in this twin flame connection. And we'll see what is happening in your life, divine masculine. But you definitely show up, which is good news. Let's see. We'll cut the deck and we'll go from there. We'll clarify the cards, of course, to see the energies better. And I apologize for the delay, guys. I had been having too much of things to deal with. So yeah, finally I came to a place that allows me some free time. Okay, and then we'll get going from there, guys. We'll see what's happening. So we have cut the deck. We'll ask for 6 cards. Lessons, deception, observer, okay. Summer, vibrations, and spring. Bottom of the deck is settling, awakening, solitude, and separation. Okay, we'll look into this energy, but there is something in your life that you have definitely learned a lesson from. You have been in observation of that for a long time. Of whatever the lesson you have to learn. It's been a tough lesson. It's definitely been a very tough lesson. Excuse me. But you want to... you really want to take action. You're getting out of your situation. To me it looks like you're kind of calming down a lot. You're bringing back a lot of balance in yourself, divine masculine, because you have been going through a lot of learning lesson. Your shadow side knows about the deception, whatever has happened in your life, and you have been having questions about that. Why what I'm getting more so, guys, is that the question has been towards your own understanding as to why you have been going through a tough time, so much of tough time, right? What is that you have done in your life to have deserved so many lessons and so much of tough time, right? So there has been questions in yourself, divine masculine, as to why you have been feeling what you have been feeling for so long, right? Because your shadow side, kind of was playing tricks with you, was not allowing you to understand the number of lessons or the lessons you have learned. So somewhere your question was, the question that you have had as a silent observer to the whole situation is, why do I have to face so much of trouble in my life, right? But at the same time, what I'm getting is that your subconscious energy or your shadow energy was deceiving you of the lessons that you should have taken in as a part of your learning curve, right? So, which is where there has been a lot of anger, a lot of things that you have probably not spoken about. You have been keeping it and hiding. You haven't expressed situations where you're trying to come out of that situation. You're trying to bring back a lot of balance, lot of control, lot of harmony in yourself, because you're slowly coming to terms with the lessons in life that you have learned, or you're learning, or you have already gone through, but we'll see. Okay, so you have questions about your own understanding, whether you were deceiving yourself or people were deceiving you. What are the lessons you have learned from this deceitful energy that has been sitting in your shadow energy, in your subconscious energy? But we'll check to see this, right? Please talk to me about the lessons here. And these lessons have been pretty tough. You have gone through a period of anger, feeling brutally hurt, right? Not being able to open up and talk about situations, maybe. Let's see the lessons here. The Ace of Wands, the Page of Swords, and the Six of Cups. Yeah. It's almost you're embarrassed about something in life right now, guys. Which is your soulmate energy here, right? With the Six of Cups. You're embarrassed that you haven't taken the right decision at the right time. You're feeling that you should have not waited for this long to have to have taken a call. It also could be a lesson from your inner child issues that you have learned, because this card could also talk about inner child issue, something that you guys have been going through from your early childhood years, which probably has been a learning lesson in your case, Divine Masculine, right? But in here, what I'm getting is that you're kind of being a little bit, there has been a delay in this situation because of whatever inner child. It's been a learning lesson that you shouldn't have waited that long in your life. You have waited for too long to reboot a situation, to restart a situation, to refresh a situation, right? You have really delayed this event in your life, and it's been a learning lesson because you did have the soulmate energy here, right? You also have the soulmate energy here. And because of your delay, you're feeling a little bit embarrassed about your own situation here. And it's been a learning lesson. That's where the deception is coming in, right? This is where the deception is showing up, that, you have been probably deceiving yourself in this situation. You are not really rebooting or refreshing the whole situation because somewhere you could be scared of something. Let's see. Just talk to me about the deception here. The King of Wands, the King of Pentacle, and the World card, right? So something is closing, guys. Something is definitely closing. That part of the deception where you have, understood. It's almost like you are coming to terms with your own vision in life, what you have done wrong, right? Because remember, this is a learning lesson. So you are getting into that energy, guys, where you were perhaps deceiving yourself. You were telling yourself that, yeah, it's okay, but it is something that I'm scared about. It could be an inner child issue. It could be a soulmate energy. It could be anything that you were not really paying attention to. You have delayed the whole scenario, right? And that whole scenario, because of the delay, You are kind of getting into that realization that it's been a learning lesson in your life. The delay has happened for sure. The delay has happened with a learning lesson for sure, but it has also taught you some amount of lesson in life, that you need to act when it is the right time. If you do not act when it's the right time, you lose it all. You lose it all, right? Because the Ace of Wand doesn't come back to you every time. It comes for a while and then it disappears, right? So if you don't take action on that situation, you're not going to get that ace. You will have to wait for that ace to come back into your life again, for that timing of the new beginning to come back into your life. So it's not something that you are um, it's not something that you had realized before. Is more so I'm getting, which is a realization that you're coming to terms with now, right? And it's a learning lesson. It's definitely been a learning lesson for you, that you shouldn't have waited for this long. You should have acted at the right time, but you're feeling a little bit embarrassed about the whole situation. You're definitely a little bit embarrassed, with the delay that you have caused, right? And you don't know what to say, because like I said, this could be an inner child issue you have learned a lesson from with the delay. You have also learned a lesson how you have lost out on the good times with your soulmate energy, a situation from the past in your life. So there is some cause of embarrassment with this learning lesson, guys. You're not happy about it, definitely, and you're feeling kind of, that you have not only betrayed your soulmate, you have also betrayed your own self. You have deceived your own self. This is where the deception card shows up, where you were hiding behind false situations, false excuses, false everything that was false. You were hiding behind a false cover, a false story. You were not saying the truth. You were not speaking up the truth. You were not clarifying the truth, right? As though you were, and now you're coming to terms with your understanding that this deceit or deceive has been more so at your end, at your subconscious end, in your shadow energy, where you were scared of facing the truth, saying the truth, doing the right thing. But now, with the King of Wand energy, guys, you can see that you have caused more damage in yourself or to yourself than to anybody else. Yes, this connection has suffered 100%. This connection has suffered, and you can see that. This has been a learning lesson for you as well. That because of you, this connection has suffered, but at the same time, you are getting a hold of this energy right now, as to what you can do to revive this connection in the right way. What is that you can now act upon or do or take action on in order to, excuse me, in order to revive the whole connection once again in the right way, right? And this is because you see, you want to close the old chapter. You want to close the old chapter of your life where you could have lost an empire. That was where you were not saying the truth. You were not telling, you could have lost your stability in your life, with your money, with your home, with your anything that concerns your material 3D possessions, right? Where you were perhaps not in that frame of mind to take the responsibility or extra responsibility of somebody else in your life. So you were always trying to hide that. You were always trying to cover that story. that is coming to an end. That chapter is coming to an end. You're not going to cover things anymore, guys. You're going to say the truth, is what I'm getting. You're going to, because you are getting a hang of this whole situation, that because of your mistake, whatever you have done, because of that has been a learning lesson. That, of course, has been a learning lesson in your case, divine masculine. But at the same time, you're understanding your flaws. You're understanding where you have gone wrong. Instead of blaming other people, other situations, you're now kind of clearly looking at your own fault, where you have committed a grave mistake, where you have committed a sin. You have not said the truth. You have always been under some kind, hiding things under some excuses, some facade. And that's not something you did consciously, let me tell you that. Whatever you did was very subconscious energy. It came to you automatically. Like somebody asked you something and you were scared of saying the truth. So automatically you would cover the truth with some kind of a false story or a false narrative, right? And that was where you're realizing that energy has been very deceitful. It not only has deceived you, but it has also deceived this wonderful connection. And this is where, you're realizing that you cannot keep carrying, you cannot keep doing this. You have to end the situation. This situation needs to end, and you will be ending it because, you have been observing the whole thing silently for a long time, right? And you're coming to your senses, you're coming to your clear understanding that this is not the way you will be able to work with your energy anymore. You cannot keep deceiving yourself. You cannot keep deceiving this connection. You cannot keep deceiving the world because of your own fear, right? So you are coming to terms with it. Let's look at the observer. You're coming to terms with your own understanding. The Three of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Empress. Yeah. It is almost like, it's almost like you're getting into the energy of cutting people out of your life. Just as the divine feminine, right? You're kind of incorporating that energy where you're cutting people out of your life who no longer matters to you, who do not bring you any fun, any pleasure, who do not really give you any kind of emotional support or joy, right? And you're doing that in your mental energy. You're incorporating the divine feminine's energy of the Queen of Swords, where you're cutting people off in order to spiritually grow by yourself and bond with your better half. Bond with your better half is bonding with your divine feminine. She is the empress for you. And the way she has worked in order to become the empress is something that you have been observing for a long time. And you possibly could be in that energy as well because you have been silently observing the way that she has worked in her life, where she has not taken any BS from anybody. And whoever has, it could be the third party situation, it could be people with whom she does not keep in touch with anymore because she is moving on to become the empress, right? So she doesn't want any kind of foul play in her life. She doesn't want people in her life who is going to step in between her and her empress energy. So she is freeing herself from difficult situations, from difficult people, personalities, people who do not gel with her. She doesn't gel with them because she knows with whom she can have a rapport with and with whom she cannot be having a rapport with anymore. She knows that very well, and you have been a silent observer in this situation where it is a possibility that you are incorporating the same kind of energy from her, or you're also learning about your own mistake through her, through the divine feminine. You're learning to work like her, and that is where this deceit energy is coming to an end, where you're finding back your own strength, you're finding back your own stability in order to, because like I said, you're embarrassed that you could not do things at the right time. And you have been silently observing the way she has moved in her life, right? The way she has worked with her own strength, with her own intelligence, right? Where she hasn't paid attention to other situations and other people in her life who could have taken her in a wrong direction. So she has been very focused, she has been very focused towards her empress energy, because she is that she is that queen who can cut people off, who can be icy and cold only because she knows what her target in life is, right? Her target in life is very, very clear. She's not going to distract herself from the target in her life, and her target, her goal in her life is to become the empress, where she has all kind of abundance in her life, where she does not work anymore. She is, in that comfortable zone, in that comfortable energy. She can give birth to anything, but because of that, she is also highly intelligent, that she does not invite people who are crooked and mean in her life and who can spoil this energy. Excuse me, who can spoil this energy for her, right? So you have been divine masculine. You have been a silent observer to the whole situation. And this is where you are closing something in your life, just like her, where other people or other situations could have been sitting in your life and you have not been able to close that chapter. But because you have learned a big time lesson from the soulmate energy, you're coming to terms with your own wisdom. That is something I want to say here. You're coming to terms with your own wisdom, okay? With this summer card, and we'll check to see the energy for the summer card, right? So, a lot of things that you probably have not been able to do before. It's like you're following the divine feminine's footsteps, or you want to follow the divine feminine's footsteps because of the learning lesson. Your understanding is becoming very clear, very solid. Just talk to me about this summer, the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, you have been very, very troubled and you're feeling very guilty about the painful ending in the past that happened between you and the divine feminine, right? You have been feeling very guilty about the whole situation. You have not been able to sleep very well because you haven't been able to express yourself, right, in the rightful way. You haven't been able to tell her what it is that you're feeling deep within yourself, divine masculine. You haven't been able to tell her because of this, but internally, logically, you have been going through a very rough period. Let me tell you that. You have been going through a very, very rough period in your life, from where you now want to come out and say the right things. Be apologetic for your mistake that you have done with regards to the situation. You want to offer that love. You want to offer that cup. You want to offer that sentiment back to her, right? You want to give it all back to her because what has been, you have been very guilty about the fact that you have given her so much of trouble. You have caused her a lot of pain. That in turn has inflicted a lot of pain and trouble even in your life, divine masculine. right? And you have been very guilty about the fact that you haven't been able to tell her what is there in your heart. You haven't, because of a lot of guilt that you have been carrying within you, divine masculine. And that is something you now want to do, because you're raising your vibrations. You're kind of, excuse me, you're kind of raising your vibrations to another level. You're trying to get out of that worry, that stress. You don't want that anymore in your life. You're trying to walk away from that situation, guys, because you're feeling very bad that you haven't been able to tell her what you really have in your heart for her, right? You haven't been able to say that. Please talk to me about the vibration, the Ace of Cups, the Three of Swords, and the Magician. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You have manifested, you're realizing that you have manifested a lot of pain in her life, a lot of pain for the third party situation and this love story. It's you, and you're feeling very guilt because you know, right? You know that it's because of you that the whole thing has gone through such a lot of crisis. If you had been intelligent enough, if you had done the right thing, you're feeling guilty that you haven't been able to give her this love. You haven't been able to express this love. Excuse me. You haven't been able to express that sentiment, that feeling in your heart for her. Because what you have manifested is a lot of third party rotten stories. Lot of third party rotten stories, which took away that cup of love from this relationship, right? This is something that you are very guilty about, that you shouldn't have dragged her into this third party connection, or you should have taken care that this third party connection does not interfere and intervene in both your lives or in this relationship, but you have not been able to do that. You have brought the third party, you have manifested that divine masculine from which you're trying to get away. You're 100% trying to walk away. You're trying to raise yourself way above this situation now, because you're feeling extremely bad that you haven't done the right thing. You haven't. And it's all hitting you now. It's all hitting you very badly, divine masculine. And this is where you're trying to bring back a balance in yourself, right? You're trying to bring back a balance in this relationship. You're trying to bring back a balance in yourself. You're feeling very bad about the whole situation now, because you can clearly see what you have done and what you could have done, right? Let's look at the spring. The Six of Pentacles, the Temperance, and the Fool. Yeah. The Seven of Swords. The Deception. It's almost like you want to balance out the whole situation and start fresh, guys. You really are tired of this whole game, right? You want to bring back a balance of emotion, the right reciprocity between the two of you. You want to be nice to her, and you expect her to be nice to you. You want to give her the love. You want to say sorry, right? And you want an equal reciprocity of your time, emotions, money, everything. And you want to start fresh, Excuse me. You also feel that, it's important for you to bring back that balance of emotional balance in this relationship, because it is also a matter of you trusting yourself and she trusting you back, right? Because She could feel that you are very unreliable, right? And you don't want that energy. You want her to trust you, and you want to trust yourself too with your emotional balance, right? So it's almost like you're coming to a point of realization that you have to change the whole scenario in yourself. You have to change the whole external scenario, the internal scenario in this relationship here. Yeah, because then you got settling and you got the Seven of Swords. This is where you have been. This is where you had settled yourself with the deception, right? Everything, all the energy that you were playing with, excuse me, all that thinking that you were doing, all that energy that you were playing with was very deceitful. Very deceitful. Then this is an awakening with the Five of Wands. It's a learning lesson. You're coming to terms with your own understanding, Divine Masculine. You're coming to terms with your own understanding, solitude and the star. Yeah, and you're trying to heal. You're trying to heal by yourself. You're 100% doing a lot of healing work, separation and Ten of Cups, because you have not committed to something in your life that you knew wanted a commitment, and you had killed that commitment. You had separated yourself from that commitment, which is where the purge and the Three of Pentacles. This is what you want to get rid of. You want to get rid of people who no longer matters to you. Who no longer matters to you. Right? So you're coming to a point of realization. Your lessons are completing now. You have completed a whole set of lessons, Divine Masculine. And within the next 10 days or 12 days or whatever, you will realize that your period of learning and lesson is getting over. Is getting over because you have completed the chapter of learning in your life. And you're getting ready to move forward because you're getting a hang of the whole situation, of where your mistake has been, what you have done, and what you could have done and what you haven't done. Where you could have taken action and what you haven't. Whereas you have been silently in observation of the person that you love and how she has progressively left people behind in her life to move into her own abundance, right? It has also been a learning lesson for you. You have silently observed how she has graduated from one step into the other, how she has moved from one step into the other, and now she's becoming the empress, right? So she's graduated from somebody that you have known previously, who was somebody different, is now turning out to be somebody different just because of the way that she has worked with her own energy. And you have silently observed her. You have seen what she has done. You have learned a lot from her. You have also graduated into the stage of finishing a learning lesson in your life. It's only because you have come to your realization that there is a lot of things that you have learned from your divine feminine, right? So this is where you are now trying to, get out of a situation. You're feeling very guilty of the way you treated her, of the way you have done things with her, of the way you have manifested the pain in her life. All because you could not offer that cup of love to her. And all you have offered to her is that pain from the third party situation. So this is where you are coming to your realization that you need to restart the whole situation. And this time around, you have to do it in accordance with your equal give and take, balanced form. Because, this is also something that you're understanding that you haven't been able to offer her a reciprocity of anything. Call it emotions, call it love, call it money, call anything. You haven't been able to give her the right equal give and take. And she doesn't trust you. So, this is where you have to be very balanced and tempered with your emotional self in order to recreate the trust in her, right? In her. So, you have to be very, very balanced emotionally. You have to take hold of your emotions in the right way, guys, or else she might not be able to trust you, because she definitely has gone through a lot. And I've always said this, that don't take me that, oh, because I'm reading for you, I always say the wrong things or I don't support you. No, no, no. I support both you guys. But wherever you are wrong, I always have pointed out. Wherever the divine feminine is wrong, I have always pointed that out too. In my reading, both you guys are in the equal give and take from my end, right? It's not that I love you guys more and I love the divine feminine less, or I love the divine feminine more and love you less. No, it's not that way. It doesn't work that way for me. So wherever I see that you guys have done wrong towards either yourself or towards the divine feminine, I have always said that. And the same goes in the reading for the divine feminine as well. Okay, so now you have to rebalance, rework with a lot of patience in order to compromise with the lost situation and bring back a balance and trust in this relationship once again. It's going to be a challenge, guys. It's not going to be easy, but you have to keep working towards it. Okay, and only once you know that you can keep up with this energy, you keep working towards it, you will get your result. But you have to keep working towards it. Okay, so enjoy this reading, Divine Masculine. Until I see you once again, till then, goodbye. God bless, Khuda Hafiz, and Namaste.